Okay, good morning. This is the pre-proposal conference for RFP-25-00303, Mixed Waste Processing Facility. My name is Sybil Tucker. I am the procurement buyer for this project. For the record, this meeting is being recorded and has been publicly noticed. Today's meeting is being held by means of communications media technology. Provisions have been made for any member of the public desiring to have access to attend the meeting. The meeting will also be made available via recording after the meeting has ended. As a matter of housekeeping for participants, please mute your audio. Proposers are cautioned that only a written addendum may change the RFP document. Any statements or comments made by the county at this meeting which might appear to modify the RFP document shall be considered by proposers as only a tentative position of the county. In order for these statements to be considered as an actual change to the solicitation, they must be published in a written addendum. Also want to advise you that the cone of silence is in effect. Proposers should not contact any employees other than those identified in the cone of silence clause in the RFP document. All questions should be submitted in writing via the vendor discussions in the UNA bid platform. So just for informational purposes, this meeting is to basically just go over the project. We're not going to have a question and answer session. This is for informational purposes. And we will just be going through, highlighting some areas and just wanting to kind of walk you through the platform that we use a little bit, as well as just talk about the project and as a whole in general, as far as what the expectations is for this project. So I have my screen shared, and you should be able to see the project showing on the screen in our UNA platform. It's formerly known as Bonfire. For those that are familiar with Bonfire, they just changed the name. It's now going by UNA. Procurement. So we have, again, the Mixed Waste Processing Facility project. And Hillsborough County is seeking competitive seal proposals from firms to provide waste processing, beneficial reuse technologies, and/or end markets for municipal solid waste. The county is seeking one or multiple contractors for a 15-year term to accept, process, and market municipal solid waste. The contractor must provide a facility capable of handling 300 to 500 tons of MSW daily, totaling 109,000 to 182,500 tons annually. The county's goal is to minimize waste directed to the county's southeast county landfill. So as you can see on the screen here, the close date is currently January 23rd at 2 p.m., meaning all proposals must be submitted by that deadline. So I would advise you all to, if you intend on proposing, you can go ahead and start your submissions early, get all of the preliminary information inputted into the system. That way you're not scrambling the day of. You can always start it, save it, and go back to it. So I would advise you to do that. I want to mention that there is a deadline for questions. Although this says questions, the due date is never. That's a system thing where we're not able to actually put a date or a time. Well, we can put a date in there. We just can't put in the actual time frame. So the deadline for questions is actually 14 days from today, actually. So it's the pre-proposal conference. So the 14 days for question submission actually starts today, from 14 days from today. So I would advise you, for those of you that have not already submitted questions, because we have received some questions that we have forwarded on to the department for response, to go ahead and try to get your questions in as soon as possible so that we can get the responses back out in a timely fashion. We do not encourage you to wait until that 14th day. We would prefer that you submit them earlier so that, again, we can get the responses back out. So as I go down the screen here, you'll see the section called supporting documentation. This is where all of the files are that are related to this RFP. So we have the contract terms and conditions. You would download that file, and all the files can be downloaded to your system, saved to your system. We have the RFP document here. So again, all the files associated with this project are listed here. Some of them are required to be submitted with your proposal, and that is identified in the description. So if it says submit with offer, that means you will need to make sure you have that completed and uploaded into the system in the designated areas for those items. So for your proposal, you will upload it, and it says that it's a required document. Anything that's required says required. So it won't allow you to actually move forward without uploading those files. So keep that in mind. For those of you interested in a plan holders list, we have what we call here the document takers list, where it shows all of the firms that have viewed these documents. So you can utilize this list for whatever purpose you may need it for. So just utilize these areas in the solicitation for that. And anything that I've sent out will come through a public notice. When I send it out, everyone that's been notified to this solicitation gets an email, and then you go in and you can view whatever I've sent. So in this case, someone had asked a question about if they had to pre-register for this meeting, and I provided the response through the public notice. Anytime an addendum goes out, I will send out a notice through the public notice stating that an addendum has been posted. So please keep in mind that you will need to monitor your emails, or you can always just go into the system and view periodically. If you don't seem to get the email, you may want to check your junk mail as well. But it does send out a notice to everyone's email when I post something in the public notice section. Vendor discussions is where we would like for you to send in your questions. So please utilize that to send in your questions, any questions that you may have. Again, we have received some questions so far, and we will be providing the responses to those, most likely in an addendum format. So again, we do encourage you to read through this document very carefully, so that you understand what we are requiring for this project, and as far as your proposal. It's very in detailed as to what we're asking for. However, if you're unclear about something, that is the time for you to submit a question to get clarity before you assume something and then you submit you're not submitting the right information. So at this time, I am going to turn the meeting over to our department. And Damien, will you be speaking if you want to unmute and just go over some key details of the project at this time?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, good morning, everyone. Damien Trammell, the department director. It's been a long time coming to get to this place. Many thanks to our procurement department for helping us get here, and my team as well. We just look forward to really hearing back from you all. I think we've been clear that this is not a question and answer session, so I won't get into. I would love to talk more about it with you, but I don't think this is the platform for it. But again, we're just happy that we got this project off the ground, and we absolutely look forward to your responses, and rest assured we're going to respond as soon as possible. I think I do have one question for you, Sybil. What is the time frame for the department to provide a response to the questions? Do we have that?
Well,
right away?
Yeah, as soon as you can get them back to us, because
Okay.
again, the idea is to get the responses back out in case any of the questions impact their
Okay.
proposals, their response or their proposal, so that
Okay.
they'll can proceed accordingly with preparing
All right.
their proposal. Mhm.
Okay, got it. So we'll look to respond to the questions that have been submitted already sometime this week. And I think and we'll get those to you, Sybil, so you can go ahead and issue an addendum based on our response to them. I think one thing I do want to mention, just want to clarify some things as well. Please read the agreement. It's important that that you understand that the the building of the site must be in Hillsborough County, and it will not be built on public property that's owned by the county. So you will need to go out and secure your own property within Hillsborough County to actually qualify for this particular agreement in terms of us being a company that would be interested in at least. All right, so I just want to make sure that's clear. I think that was something that we definitely declare up there. But other than that, team, again, I'm happy that we're here, and we'll see how we land this plane.
Hey, thank you, Damien. So, again, this was just information for us to provide. I do want to reiterate the cone of silence. So, please keep that in mind, that the cone of silence is in effect all the way until we post the notice of intent to award. So we have quite a bit of ways of a time before that cone of silence ends. Please do not contact anyone from the solid waste department. We would, do not want any violations of that, because, we have had instances where we have had to disqualify a proposer for those reasons. So please just do not do that. Any question you have, just submit it to through that vendor discussions platform, message portal in UNA. That way we can just get the responses back out to you. As far as the platform goes, all proposals will be submitted electronically through this system. If you're not familiar with how to do that, you can always give us a call, give me a call, and we'll assist with how to upload the files. And but I do believe it's kind of self-explanatory once you begin your submission process. But again, if you need assistance, please feel free to give me a call. I'm always here to answer any questions regarding the platform. But as far as questions specifically about the project, you will need to submit those in writing, and we will get a response back out again most likely through an addendum format. I will post this recording of this meeting in the public or the supporting documentation files or section of the system in case anyone missed it, and it will be here available for you to refer back to. But again, this was not intended to be a question and answer session. We need the questions submitted in writing. And I do believe that's all I have. Damien, did you have anything else, or anyone else from your team that may have wanted to highlight anything?
No, I think we mentioned about the location, which I think is something very important to mention there.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's about it. I think any questions that need to be answered should be done in writing,
Right.
and I'll respond that way.
Okay. So again, just read through this contract terms and conditions document very carefully. Anything you don't that may not be clear, submit your questions, and we'll get the responses back out to you. We do want to thank everyone for your attendance today, and everyone that's interested in this project. And we hope to get some good responses. Again, the close date is January the 23rd. Be mindful of that and get your responses in prior to that deadline. Once the clock hits 2 p.m., you will not be able to submit it after that. And we do not accept any other submissions other than through this platform. You cannot email it. You cannot submit a hard copy. Every proposal has to be submitted electronically through this platform. So again, I encourage you not to wait until the last minute. You know, with technology, sometimes systems go down, and you don't want that to happen where you didn't get your proposal submitted. If anything, I would encourage you to submit it, you know, even the day before, if possible, or at least by first thing in the morning on January 23rd to ensure that you get your submissions in. So with that, I'm going to close out this pre-proposal conference for RFP-25-00303, the Mixed Waste Processing Facility Project. Thank you all again for your time and your attendance today. Thank you.